Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. My name is Adam Marple, and I'm the co-artistic director of the Theater of Others. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a shutdown and reevaluation of space and gathering, we at the Theater of Others are thinking about what stories we need and how best we can share them. We believe space is psychology, and it informs the way in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. Now that space has moved online, how can we encourage interaction and action amongst an audience virtually? The Theater of Others produces plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purpose of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task, and it requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? On the podcast today from Melbourne, Australia, are co-artistic directors Budi Miller and myself in Cairo, Egypt. This podcast contains explicit language.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm doing. I think I'm doing pretty well, actually. I'm doing pretty well.
You sound snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus? What?
You sound like you're snuffleupaging.
No, I'm the opposite of snuffleupaging, whatever the hell that means. I'm
Stuffy.
not Eeyore. I don't know.
Not Eeyore. You sound stuffy.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
What is that book behind you?
This book right here? This book right here? Or this book right here? Which one?
I can only see the red one.
The Art of Dramaturgy by Anne Cataneo. I highly, highly recommend. This will be one of my provocations. It's a really good book. So Anne Cataneo is the dramaturg at Lincoln Center Theater and the founder of... What are you doing?
Look at that hair. It's like...
Put that away.
I'm trying. I'm sorry.
So Anne Cataneo is
yes.
She's the dramaturg of Lincoln Center Theater, and she was the founder of the Directors Lab, and she was one of the first dramaturgs in the United States, and she's brilliant. And
one of the first dramaturgs of the United States.
She old.
Wait, how old? I'm sorry, I gotta fix my weave. I'm trying to fix my weave.
She's old. I mean, talk to Taylor. I mean, he knows there was only a handful of dramaturgs that basically kind of kick-started dramaturgy in the United States. She was one of them. So
when did dramaturgy begin?
In the 60s, basically. Late 60s, early 70s.
Oh.
As we think of dramaturgy today, yes.
Oh, okay.
Not literary managers, not
I'm
somebody
like,
who's just nerdy for theater, but, actual dramaturgy as we know it now.
Well, is it a good book?
It is good. It's very good. It's because we've had a podcast about what is dramaturgy. We've had a dramaturg on, and we still can't really nail down what it is that they do. It's good.
So what do they do? So after have you finished the book?
No, I have not finished the book. I'm also working on other books. I'm reading like 4 books right now. So no.
Is it an easy read?
No, it's not a page. It's not a page. It's not that it's boring.
You are not convincing me that I need to read this book.
No. It's an investigate. Like, you want to spend time with it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm reading 4 books right now, and this. I had to put it down and make a decoration for the podcast because I want to spend time with it. So.
Okay, what chapter are you on?
4.
How many chapters are there?
Way more than 4, which is why I put it
more
down.
Than 4. Thanks, Adam.
Way more than 4. 4.5.
Way more than 4. 4.5. What books am I reading?
Yeah.
What am I reading?
Well, you're reading one book.
I'm reading a biography of Hattie McDaniels.
Oh, nice.
It's really good.
Yeah, of
She's amazing.
course she was.
She was amazing. No, like she was like a cutting edge theater artist.
I
She
bet.
made like so like minstrelsy was the style of performance for her during her age growing up as a theater artist in Denver, and she created a all female black minstrelsy troupe, first of its kind, and like turned minstrelsy on its head, like, and was like making all these huge, like, very like bouffant characteristics of like the minstrelsy, and like giving her commentation on like the as a making it a political statement. She was brilliant. She was fucking brilliant.
Remind our listeners how they are most likely to know her.
Oh, well,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, many of you may know her from a movie called Gone with the Wind. She won the Academy Award. She's the first African American to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress as a slave in Gone with the Wind. And she was incredible. She was
Mm,
actually a really incredible contemporary political artist.
mm.
So I was so I was reading her biography, and it's so good, y'all. It's so good. So that I'm reading that. I'm also reading I'm also reading um, Hinduism for Dummies.
Oh, nice.
It's
Might
really good. It's
might be good for you
really
to learn
good.
about your religion.
Well, no, it's this is the thing. It's the thing is that Hinduism is like it's such a broad faith, and it's got so many different entrance points. It's not
Mm,
like you just pick up the Bible and then there's your doctrine. It's like there's the Vedas, then you have the Upanishads, then you have Mahabharata, then you have the Ramayana, then you have the Bhagavad Gita, and then you have all the little other stories that come in that intertwine inside of those tales. But what's great about it is that it deals with the whole system of Hinduism, and also talks about how there's no one entrance point. It just basically confirms the confusion that many people have around Hinduism. But it's
yeah.
just a really, really exciting read. And if you've ever been curious about Hinduism, I highly recommend Hinduism for Dummies. It's really good. I've been listening to it in the car. It just sets the tone.
Mm,
And then it has like the great healers like Ramana Maharshi, whose work that I follow from Gangaji and Papaji, and the work that I do with presence work. And so it's a good read if you want to get present in the Hinduism and learn about the Hinduism. I actually the funny thing about the dummy books. Do you remember? Do you remember?
Do you remember?
Do you remember when I started my PhD? I turned to Akshay and I was like, "Ah, I need to find if there's like a PhD for Dummies book."
I do remember this. Yes,
Do you remember that?
I do.
And he's like, "Do you realize how much of an oxymoron that is?" And I was like, "Are you calling me a moron?"
No, he's calling you Oxy.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been really. I think actually I should do that. And don't
I
steal my ideas out there, listeners.
I bet there is a PhD for Dummies book.
They
There, I
have
mean,
it's
clearly,
not PhD, not the brand PhD for dummies. They've got different kinds of like how
sure,
to preparation kind of texts,
sure.
but there is no actual PhD for dummies, which I think is a travesty because once you kind of like figure out what it's all about, you
Then
kind
it's
of
all
go,
downhill from there. It's so easy.
"That's it, that's it."
Mm,
Like the great thing about it is that you just learn a lot about a subject and you become an expert of it. But I think the ways in which that you disseminate the information is growing and developing, especially the way that I'm doing my PhD. And fuck, I just want to be done with it though. God damn, I'm tired talking about this damn document, Adam. It's
I'm
it's
tired.
close,
I'm
but
tired of
it's
you
just
talking
like
about it.
it's you and me, you should hear my husband. He's really tired of it. Do you realize that like we've been married as long as I've been working on the PhD?
Yes, I know.
Like that's crazy. So
Yes.
I actually don't know what married life is like without having the looming document or completion of the PhD. Like it's right there.
What what if that's all that's holding your marriage together?
Oh my God, can you imagine? I was just like, oh, finally you got your PhD. I can leave you.
Yes,
No, don't.
you finish your PhD and you're going to go retire. You're going to get a camper van and go into the woods, and then you realize you don't actually like each other, and then so you split up and you find different parts of your life and you fight over who's going to take Obama.
Ew, that's a horrible story.
Exactly.
Ew, cancel that universe.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't like that ending. I like me ending with me like snuggling with my man and my dog, and then our camper van gets blown up by some terrorists.
Okay. Okay.
Way more exciting. That's way more exciting. That's a way more exciting story.
That movie took a turn about 20 minutes into it. Okay.
But Adam,
I mean,
but if
you
you're
do
gonna
you.
go, why not go out with a bang?
It's true. It's very true. No better way to go out with a bang than to finish your PhD and then be blown up by terrorists. That's just
I mean, because this is the thing. Times they be a changing,
they do. They do. They do.
and just dying, in your sleep is that's so like 1950s.
Passe. That's so
So
passe.
passe. Passe. I want to get blown up. I
Mm.
want to I want a volcano to
Mm-hmm.
erupt
Mm-hmm.
and melt
Mm-hmm.
me down into ash.
Mm-hmm.
I want the aliens to come on that new planet. You know about that new planet, right? You heard about the new planet?
No.
You ever heard about that new planet?
No.
The one that is 10% smaller than the Earth and has an atmosphere like the Earth,
Haven't heard about it. No.
orbiting our solar system.
No. Haven't heard about it.
Google it.
All right. I will.
I think that's where they're going to send the gays. You know
Okay.
why? Because they
Why?
need us to gentrify that motherfucking planet, make it work,
Mm-hmm.
get those
Yes.
baristas working,
Yes.
get the clubs thumping.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
a feeling like if it were like a gay planet, it'd be like Fifth Element. Like the
Yes.
entrance.
That whole movie. That whole movie is run by the gays.
It is run by the gays.
There's a
It's run by the
supreme
gays.
overlord council of gays who runs the
I mean,
universe of Fifth Element. Yes.
seriously,
Those
like
costumes, that
I was about to
music.
say Bruce Willis's costume, gay,
Yeah. Just Chris Tucker's character all around. Yes.
flaming,
Yes. That opera
fabulous,
scene.
fabulous,
Yeah,
fabulous,
exactly. Yeah.
fabulous, gay, 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 very Beyonce.
Yes.
They're
I love
probably
that
gonna name
movie.
the new planet Beyonce. They'll name the new planet Beyonce.
Welcome to Beyonce. Exactly.
Welcome to Beyonce.
Yes.
Now dip. And like Big Frida will be like on the like PA giving the time. Every hour you hear Big Frida like giving the time.
Yes.
1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. Ah.
Wow.
See, the world is growing and becoming more diverse, and we have to keep going in that direction, right?
It should be. Yes. We should be.
So, like all the different roles that people play have to be evaluated, right?
Evaluated. Yes.
And do
Yes.
we have to succumb if there's an evaluation?
No, but it needs to be evaluated.
But what does evaluation mean, technically, Adam? What does evaluation mean?
Well, we need to look. We need to relook at some things. There are some things that we've just assumed would always be. There's some things that we just accepted to be the way that they are. And as you said before, times they be a changing. And do these things still exist in our current universe and
Girl,
climate?
Adam, you in trouble, girl. I think I just gave you a segue.
You did. You were working up to it.
I just fed you a delicious
Yes.
amuse
Yes.
bouche called Segway.
Yes.
How's it taste?
Tasty. Yummy. Thank you.
Delish. Is it delish?
Delish. Delish.
Is it palate cleansing?
It's like a orange sorbet in between courses. Exactly. Yes.
Speaking of which, y'all need to watch the movie Menu. The Menu. You need
I
to
agree.
watch the Menu.
That's
The
a good
best
movie.
line ever written is in that film. We do not burn things except by design to make delicious.
Tortillas.
The best. Y'all gotta watch that movie. It's if you're a foodie, if you're a barista, if you've
Mm-hmm.
ever worked in a restaurant, you gotta watch that movie.
That's a good movie.
So what are we talking about today, Adam?
So I found an article that I thought this would be an interesting thing to talk about on the podcast, and I sent it to Budi. And this is an article linked in the show notes. You can read it below about a production of Samuel Beckett's "Waiting for Godot" that was, I guess, canceled or postponed or is not going to happen. The
Canceled.
reason, the reason of this was because those of you who know the Samuel Beckett estate is very particular about what they allow in any of his shows. Not just Waiting for Godot. Beckett is very sensitive about it
The
remaining.
estate is sensitive.
The estate, exactly. The estate is very sensitive about it remaining almost a museum piece. So Endgame will always be exactly like every other Endgame. Godot will remain every other Godot. Not I. All of his short works, his anythings, they all have to remain cast as intended, designed as intended, and conceptually as intended. So anytime that there are moving away from that, the estate is very litigious, will shut things down and sue, so that there is not.
They go crazy. The
Yeah,
Beckett police are crazy.
yeah. So this production,
They're like PETA.
yeah, they really kind of
They're
are.
crazy like
Yeah,
PETA.
yeah.
They will throw paint all over your all over your set.
All over your fur design set for Endgame.
Can you
Exactly.
imagine you like actually do a production that like the Beckett police are that disapprove of the
Yeah,
whatever you're doing and they come
yeah,
in and they just like throw paint on you throw
yeah.
paint on your actors.
You're doing a beautiful production of Happy Days, and you've decided not to use a hill to bury Winnie in, and they come up, they go, "No, cannot be done," and they just throw red paint all over it. I mean, that'd be some
They'll
good
throw a pie in
controversy.
someone's face.
That'd be some good controversy. So this production of Godot was in the Netherlands, and this was a university production, and
Oh, the
the
Netherlands. You know how PC they are in the Netherlands.
so this production of Godot, it has 5 named male characters: Vladimir,
Yes.
Estragon, Patso, Lucky, and the boy. And so,
I know a girl named Lucky.
well, unfortunately, it is stated male in the script. So
Okay.
the director, a student director, decided he wanted to do this production. And because of the estate, in his audition notice, he said, unfortunately, we can only audition male identifying people, males, for this production because of the rules of the estate, which went directly against the university's stated diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they shut it down. They said, no, you cannot possibly do this show then. And so there is no wiggle room with the estate, and there seems to be no wiggle room with the university. So the play does not go on.
So wait.
And that's
So
what we're talking about.
okay. Okay.
There's a
I'm
lot,
so
right?
confused.
There's
I'm
a
so
lot.
confused.
I know.
I'm so confused.
Yes.
I'm so confused. When does okay. When does freedom of speech come into play?
I mean, there is freedom of speech. There is the rights of holders of intellectual property, and then there is the 21st century march towards equity and equality.
I'm
And
so confused right now. Like
I
Adam, like
know.
I'm really like I feel like that policy is like bastardizing what diversity and equity and inclusion actually stands for.
Could be.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like they've weaponized diversity and inclusion to be mediocre and do nothing. I mean, so this is my question. So okay, listen, y'all, listen. Are we saying that all plays need to be genderless? Is that what we're saying? Because gender is a construct, that it doesn't matter what gender any person plays, even if the play is a if is the play rooted in gender? Waiting for Godot.
That's an interesting question, and that's an artistic question that is not being that even the conversation isn't necessarily being able to be had. I mean, I think there are absolutely plays and stories out there that are gendered, that are necessary, that the gender is important for the story. Now, that's not to say that if you were to change the gender that there wouldn't be something gotten from it, but I think there are some stories where gender is the story. Now, do I think that Waiting for Godot is important that it's men doing this, that women could not bring something out of this, or that the story or non-story of Godot is dependent on that? No, I don't think so.
Look, maybe it's actual Samuel Beckett saying that women couldn't be that stupid.
Maybe he's far more progressive than we're giving him credit for. Is that what you're saying?
Only a man could be this dumb.
Now, again, we should say this is not Samuel Beckett. Samuel Beckett died in 1981. This is the estate. Now, we don't know how Samuel Beckett felt about this. I can imagine, we can probably imagine it's somewhere near this, but the estate is very, very clear and has shut down many productions. There's a very famous production of Endgame. I think it was set in a subway with Joanne Akalaitis, and it was two women. They shut it down. They're like, no, I mean, this was a very famous New York production. They shut down immediately and said, no, you cannot do this.
Well, this brings me to the question that I wanted to ask you earlier, which was, what is the purpose of the estate? Why does the estate exist, and why do they have that kind of power?
Well, yeah, that's a good question we should be asking as well. And I mean, there's three, like I said, there's three parts of this conversation, which is why I think it's an interesting conversation to have. And we should say, listeners, Budi and I aren't going to have any answers. We're asking
I don't
questions.
got any answers. I'm just
Yeah,
like I'm sitting here going,
yeah. I mean, it's
I'm
confusing.
actually filled with way more questions. I have
Yeah,
no answers
yeah,
because I'm really confused. I'm
yeah. Exactly.
confused. I'm confused because I don't know how I would be really frustrated if I was that student.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I would be
Because
frustrated
it's
if.
not like the student was trying to.
No, of
It's
course
not
not.
the student's fault. The
No.
student actually was doing. He was doing what the law says, that he's got to abide by what the estate of this play is, and so then the university. And see, this is what frustrates me. This is what frustrates me. This is where like that the liberals and American liberals, because I'm not talking about the liberals here. The liberals here are the conservatives here in Australia, but the liberals meaning the left wing ideology of certain things, and like the inclusion of certain things, like the socialist kind of things that come out of these kinds of debates and intentions, is how like the right wing just goes, see, look, it's just stupid. They get nothing done, and it's like, look at that. You can't even do a play,
Mm.
and it's not. That's not what we should be fighting for. I think that's what frustrates me. It's I don't think that's what we should be fighting for.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean,
it's one
it's
play of one student's exploration of one playwright. Now I don't know, because then you get into this thing of like, are all the is the class saying that only Beckett can't be done? So it's like, is this a class that's all Beckett? You know what I mean? Like saying that like everyone has to do a Beckett work. Is I- it's so messy. It drives
yes,
me crazy.
it is.
It's really messy.
I mean, because it's a question of That's the question. Should we be doing Beckett at all? Does that mean that Beckett is canceled, that we can't do Beckett? Why does, as you asked before, why does the estate exist? I was actually kind of proud that there was a student who actually sought out the rights and got it instead of just deciding to
Right.
bootleg it on their own and do it how
Yeah.
they wanted to
Yeah.
do. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much that's going on, and then of course, the university reacting the way that they did. I mean,
It's just a broad. The stroke is so broad.
from all angles, from all
You know what
angles.
I mean?
Yes,
Like
yeah,
it's like saying that like diversity inclusion is a monolithic. It's like, but you're not dealing with intersectionality, and that's the thing
yeah,
that drives me crazy. It's if your diversity is exclusively contingent upon the
yeah,
intersection of which a person is living. No one person's life is the same, and you have to look at those variables if you're really looking about inclusion and diversity,
yeah,
and it just becomes this broad thing of like, oh yeah, it's diversity and inclusion, oh, we don't want to do bad, we don't want to be the bad guy, we don't want any bad press, but like this is what's happening. You're getting bad press because it's just bad dramaturgy, it's bad
yeah,
research,
yeah,
it's bad consideration, it's not being considered for what is really happening. It's just going, no, let's just like kill two birds with one stone, to say no, we can't do it, just don't do it.
yeah.
Not on my watch.
And then in the article, it later talks about how, knowing that there would only be 5 male identifying actors in the show, that the director chose every single designer and every back of house person to be female identifying, because there should be opportunities for everybody. But the fact that then it had to be, but look, I have women, is always, that always has to be the excuse when faced with these kind of things of going like, yeah, there are 5 male actors, but I've done my best to, think about this situation so it's not just about that kind of thing. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't. The show is still canceled, and now the 5 male actors and the 10 female designers, none of them are working. None
No
of
one's
them are doing
working.
anything.
No one gets
There's no play
no
at
one's
all.
doing a project. Exactly.
And the discussion, which this should have led to a big discussion, why not do this show as it is, and then have a discussion about why
And
estate
have a
holders do that?
discussion.
Yeah,
Exactly.
have a talk back about what feminism means in Beckett's work, what stakeholders and right holders, how they need to navigate and change this. Invite the Beckett estate to come and defend their decisions about this,
And
and
have
then
the whole company on the stage.
yeah,
If you're having an all BIPOC LGBTQIA plus mostly women, you
yeah,
know running the show.
yeah,
What is the
exactly,
what is that conversation we're having?
yeah,
It's like, but it's like, to just erase it.
yeah,
It's fascist.
yeah. Why aren't we having these discussions? This what we're doing right now. I mean, again, they may not come up with answers in that talkback, but that, without just saying, okay, Beckett's canceled, this show is canceled, this director is canceled because he decided to do this. It's just a thing of going like, well, great. So actually, we don't move forward as society at all. We don't learn anything from this at all, and art suffers, and discussion and discourse suffers from it.
Well, that's the other question then. Is the university system a place for education and higher learning, and really using new ideas, and you know what I mean? Like,
You and I both know the answer to that.
I
It's a,
mean,
it's a
it's
marketplace,
like,
is what it
I
is.
think I think the nature of academic spaces needs to include discomfort.
Yeah, yeah,
Real learning happens when you're uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, I mean, our students are uncomfortable all the time. They're getting feedback constantly from us. It's discomfort, but
yeah.
it's not because we're trying to make them, feel bad or lesser than, because there's something else they can learn.
It's
But because the
provocation.
very
Yeah,
nature of really caring about what you're doing, you put your heart and your soul into something, which they always do. I'm just talking about the good students. I'm not talking about the ones that are there just to, just because they're just there. I'm
yeah,
talking about the ones that really show up and want to get an education.
yeah,
They put a lot of energy and time in their work. And when
yeah,
they get feedback from us, it's vulnerable.
yeah,
But that's part of learning. That's the key. And it's like, I'm just Did we get we have a message here from? I think we have a message here from Jack. What
Yeah.
does Jack say?
Yeah.
What does Jack say?
Jack's coming in and says, why can't a female or non-gender identifying individual audition for the role to play a male character? Is that bad?
I don't think that's bad
According
at all.
No, it's not bad at all. But according to this estate, this particular estate, yes, it is. I
Well,
mean,
according to this estate, that they can't be cast.
they
They
can't be
won't be
cast.
cast anyway.
They can
So the
audition,
problem,
but they won't be
the
cast.
challenge
Exactly.
is that if they're auditioning, then it's not fair to have them audition if they're not even going to be considered. That's even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, yeah. So that's
I mean, that's
so the
that's the
director.
old that's what happened in the old days. Well,
Yeah,
just let them
exactly.
audition. We're not going to cast
So the
them.
director made
You
the choice
know,
to say, please don't even audition. You won't be cast because the estate rules state that
it has to
non-male
be men.
actors
So
can be in the
if
show.
you do it any other way, we're going to shut it down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean but it's not
So
that's not the way with
what?
every single estate. Yeah.
Okay, so then this is the question. Do we? Because I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to figure out how we can deal with the estate holders. Do we do a worldwide campaign to not do Beckett plays until the estate loosens their reins or loses their power in, what is it, 2052, 2059,
2052 is when the rights come up. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So do we as a global society say, Beckett estate, loosen your reins, or we all agree that we're not going to do your plays?
That is something that could be done. I mean, here's the thing. As anti-capitalist as we all kind of talk about, that right there that you're describing is capitalism working toward the goal. Because ultimately they're going to
I thought that's democracy. I thought that's revolt. That's revolution.
sure, but what are we going to storm the castle, the Beckett Castle? There is no Beckett Castle.
Yes.
There is no
Do
Beckett
you
Castle.
hear the people sing, singing the song of angry men and women and non-binary people and non-binary identifying people
I don't
and
like this
trans
musical.
and Q
I,
and
I don't like
asexual
this
and
musical anymore.
bisexual and
This
intersexual,
see exactly. We can't.
LGBTQIA plus plus, BIPOC coming with us. Do you hear us people sing that we will come and stand together?
So there
Shake
is
down the
no
barricade of the Beckett.
there is no Samuel Beckett Castle. There is, however, the corporation that makes money off of Samuel Beckett's name and works. And if they are no longer making money, then they are no longer existing as a corporation.
But
That's what I'm
we
saying.
could unionize. Let's unionize against the Beckett Corporation. Let's unionize. Fair's fair.
Right. There's already unions out there. That's not going to happen either. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying in this case, a corporation
Hey,
only makes changes when they lose money.
okay. Actors equity. I mean, SAG. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
somebody protest.
Yeah.
Boycotts.
But then you have the writers union as well.
The writers union could boycott.
But yes, absolutely. We could as a community say
That's
why
not
is this
capitalism. Coming together as a community is not capitalism. That's
not
socialism.
buying not buying the rights to the script is capitalism though.
Not doing
Them
the work is socialism.
and are we doing the work for free?
We're not doing it at all.
Right, exactly. And they're losing money.
We're not.
I bet
We
they're
are
going to be
not buying it. We are not buying. We ain't buying it. Do you hear that, Beckett Estate? We ain't buying your shit until you make some changes.
capitalism and democracy coming together for once.
Galtney's gonna come in, but Galtney's gonna. You are lucky Galtney's not listening right now. We'd have another buzz. We'd have
Let's
another buzz on the phone.
let's have it. Let's have the conversation. We've seen over the last, I don't know, 10 years, companies aren't democratic. companies are not making changes because
No.
they've gotten woke. They're making changes because they've lost money, and they realize it's better to sell shoes if we get behind Colin Kaepernick than if we just go, oh, this is going to be better democratically because we want the arc of justice to bend toward justice. No,
But then
they
where does
realize
it
they'd make
flip?
more money.
But then where does it flip? When does boycotting Beckett become the Florida agenda?
Well, that's because there are going to be some very conservative Beckett scholars out there that are going to argue against that. Some very conservative people.
Adam Marple, what do I mean by
wanting
the
to
Florida agenda for those people who don't know what Florida is?
They don't know what Florida is.
If they're lucky.
Florida is this penis-shaped state on the tail end between the chode of Alabama and North Carolina. And it's just a cesspool of humanity. I'm sorry, Floridians. Inhumanity. Where the former president of the United States now has his winter White House, as he calls it. It is a very, very, very conservative state that is battling any kind of progressive anything right now. Currently, as we speak, this week, the governor of Florida banned AP African American History, advanced placement, pre-college high school classes in African American history, because he says it had a woke agenda. The woke agenda that he rebelled against was any mention of Black Lives Matter or how queer studies intersects with the African American experience as well. He said, take those out, or you're not allowed to teach this in our high schools. He's banned books. He has
taken over the most liberal colleges.
Yes, he's put very, very conservative thinkers on the boards of this very, very liberal private university to change the thought. So there, I mean,
no, not private; it's public. That's why he was able to change it.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, there's a very conservative
new college.
Yeah, there's a very conservative agenda that is happening in Florida.
And see, this
mostly
goes,
political, mostly just political.
But this goes right along what I was talking about before when we first started this conversation around like the because like if you use something as a banner, critical race theory, which is really fabulous, by the way. Critical race theory is fucking amazing.
But it's also very specific.
Kimberly Crenshaw, the woman who created intersectionality, the lawyer, the educator that said we have to look at the intersection of what intersectionality. By the way, that document that Kimberly Crenshaw wrote, why is it not on or in the library of the University of Melbourne? It's not in the fucking library. I looked for it. I had to go elsewhere to get the document. That speaks volumes to what we're talking about. About institutions and their commitment to diversity and inclusion, and the lack of understanding intersectionality, the actual document not being in the coffers of the estate. And then because of the brand, meaning the institution, they say, we've done the work. And this does not work for us. So just cancel it. Cancel AP African American History Studies. Cancel anything that sounds woke. Cancel queer theory. Cancel whatever. You know what I mean? It's like critical race theory. Cancel it. But it's not. If you actually read what it is, you would. If you are a sane individual, you'd be like,
you have to stop right there.
This is so clear.
You have to stop right there. You just said they have to read.
Yeah, I know.
And that's where the conversation ends.
I know. It's a very delicate situation. Yeah, I know.
But this goes both ways. We're asking
100%.
We're asking conservatives to read critical race theory and actually understand it before you ban it. And we also, as liberals and progressives, we also need to be understanding and looking at their thought. There's conservative thought out there that is not fascism, but there's also conservative thought because we're living on the same planet with them. We need to know both of those things.
Okay, give me an
If
example.
only to make my
Give me an
if
example.
only
Give me an example of what we haven't read that you've read that they are trying to uphold. We're not gonna include QAnon.
no, of course not. I'm not talking about crazy things. I'm just talking about any
Give
conservative
me an
thought at
example.
all.
One thing, Adam.
There's a lot of, okay, immigration policy. What is a conservative immigration policy that is not insane about putting people on an island off the coast of Australia?
Tell me,
what is
what
a
is it? What is one? What is one?
Well, okay, there's a wall. I don't have to agree with any of these things, but a wall, a border policy, what is the refugee status policy? Are we only accepting certain highly skilled workers? What does highly skilled mean? There are conservative thinkers out there that I do not have to agree with, but it's only going to make my argument sharper if I understand what they're saying instead of just blanket saying, well, those fascists over there who believe in QAnon clearly they don't have humanity at all.
Yeah, but when you
That's
investigate, or you dig a little bit deeper in investigating, for example, the wall. The biggest problem with the wall, the major problem with the wall, is that it's killing wildlife.
Well, of course, yes, hey, I am not at all, having just moved here from Mexico, I am not at all talking about a wall
I
is
know that.
necessary or
I'm not.
important.
I'm just saying that, like, it's like, okay, and if I,
But
okay,
you,
and I'm gonna if I bring a critical race theory concern of color blindness for one, color blindness as being a proponent of white supremacy being able to actually not have to investigate diversity. And if you read a little bit about it in race and critical race theory, it actually makes sense. I mean, to even say colorblindness is a misnomer. It's to say that, like, you have to see. So if anyone that is a certain color, they are a certain way, and if you don't see color, you can't be a racist. So that means that if you're blind, you can't be a racist. But there are a lot of blind motherfuckers out there that are racist as fuck. So that theory
yes,
is just moot.
yes, can you? But we can agree that for the longest time, colorblind before maybe about 10 years ago, color blindness was a goal that industries worked toward. Whether it was right or wrong, it was something that we thought colorblind casting. We used this until very very recently in the theater. We thought that was a goal, and so now in the last 5 to 10 years, we realize that doesn't work. But unfortunately, for 30, 40 years, having been drummed in the colorblind is the way to go. Now we're being told that thing that you've been drummed into and learned for so long, it's no longer that. Now I want you to absolutely see color, and that doesn't gel with what I was taught and how I was brought up. How I was brought up was to be colorblind, to not see color. Now I can read critical race theory and I can realize, okay, absolutely that doesn't make sense. But there's also a part of me that for 30 something years was how I understood the world to be equitable, how I
Yeah, but
understood the
did you
world to
not
be
really see
fair.
color? Did you not really see color?
No, I tried to not let color affect my decision making. I tried not to let color affect my choices of friendships or
Did it
how other
work?
people. I thought so. I
Did it
thought so.
work?
Does any of
Your
it
best
work?
friend is black.
Is he? Oh
You
my
love
God!
black people.
I had no
You
idea.
love black people. You are not colorblind.
I love people. I didn't choose for you to be my friend because I got, oh, there's a black guy here. Finally, I can tick off that box.
What music did you listen to? What music did
Philip
you listen
Glass.
to?
Philip Glass.
White.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't see color.
Yeah, I don't. You don't hear notes either.
Exactly. I don't hear notes.
I don't hear notes. I don't see color.
I don't hear
I don't
notes.
hear notes. I'm tone deaf.
Exactly.
But it's like it's serious, man. It's
Yeah, of
serious,
course it
and
is.
it's hard to, like, be in these kind of situations because it's like, okay, well, now everyone's afraid to try to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
I
nothing
mean,
gets
what
done.
if you wanted to do something to actually make a statement?
I think,
You
and that's
know?
exactly what I was. I mean, he probably wasn't. There's no indication that there was going to be a talk back around gender and feminism or anything else like that with this production. But if if it had started from that point, I'm doing this play because one, we can all agree it's a really good play, important play, but I'm going to use this play as a centralizing point to talk about something larger, which is my audience making theory that I have been putting out there in the world for so long. If it was used as a tool for a larger conversation, then I would hope that we would not be having this conversation. We'd be having a conversation about, wow, look at what this can do. But we won't know because it got shut down. It was going to get shut down by the estate, and it was shut down by the university instead.
And then that goes back to my very first question is, so when do we deal with freedom of speech here?
Yeah.
Do they have freedom of speech in the Netherlands?
Of course, it's the Netherlands. I'm pretty sure they do.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, do they have freedom of speech? I mean...
But every university is supposed to be a bastion of learning and freedom of speech. But
see, once again, now my brain hurts again because it's just I don't understand. It's just such a small action for something that's so fucking big.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a disregard. It's a disregard of how important the issue is.
When decisions are being made out of fear.
I mean, they were just silenced.
Yeah.
Just shut down, silenced. So, so my question then, okay. When is shutting down and silencing okay?
Well, I mean, I know gender or race are two very separate things, but if in a case with, say, like Hamilton, there have been productions of Hamilton that have been all or mostly white. In that case, race is very important to this musical, very important to the production of this musical. So if you choose not to follow that because race is important to this, then you're breaching the contract that you had signed, and then those productions should be shut down. It should be shut down. We should not be allowing, some high school in Iowa with a bunch of little white kids getting up there and rapping Hamilton and thinking that that's what the experience is, or doing In the Heights, or doing, insert any other BIPOC created work out there. Because it is important that identity, that intersectionality, that gender or that race or that whatever is important to the story.
But see, then I get into this. So I have this conundrum again. I get into this place where my intersection is so heavily rooted in not heterosexual, but the masculine side of life, a cis understanding of being a male. And when I realized how much this world is against women, remember that when I caught myself?
Yeah.
And it was like, and I was like, and I'm sitting in the room with my mother and my dear friend Sarah Claire, and I'm going, fuck, I'm so sorry that I didn't notice that, like, this whole fucking system has been up against you. You're up against this. So honestly, when you put it that way, it's like, no, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do Beckett. You can't do it here. Do it somewhere else.
So you have to lead the boycott then. The worldwide boycott of Beckett. And you can't stop with Beckett because Albee is going to be just as litigious. So you can't do Albee anyway. And I'm sure there are others.
You know what I mean? Well, I guess there's no time like the present.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What about the freedom of speech for the playwright?
He's dead.
He is dead. Yes, absolutely. And he'll always be dead. And we'll never have his conversation. We'll never have his thoughts about this to see if he would have changed or he wouldn't have changed. But there are playwrights that currently exist And there are states that also currently exist as well.
Well, look, freedom of, I think the freedom of speech, I think freedom of speech should be allowed. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think they're allowed to say, I don't want to have this person in my play. I don't want this narrative to be done in this way. It's just that you got to find a place that's willing to do it. In a professional environment, you can do it. In a professional environment, you can't do it. It used to be in the old days where like at school, like that's where things should be free to explore. But
Yeah.
in a professional environment, that means people's bread and butter are being affected by this as well, and people's stories are being affected by this as well.
Yeah.
You know, is it a and you know how how do you do it as a class studio project as opposed to performing it for for the public? It's like there's all these different variables that you can actually grapple with at the university, that you can't do in the public sphere.
But you can't do it at
So
a university anymore.
but apparently you can't do it at that university anymore.
Yeah.
You
But you
know,
could do it at New University in Florida.
but you could definitely do it at new college, new
New
college.
college. New college.
You
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
do it at new college. So basically, you are now have to figure out what university has your political agenda.
Right. I
Ew.
know, right? I know. I know.
This has been a Pandora's box. Like
Exactly.
nothing's been solved.
Exactly.
We
We've
have
just got
spoken.
deeper and it's gotten crazier and crazier. I don't know.
It feels like American credit. You just never get out of debt.
I'm gonna take a payday loan on this production of Waiting for Godot.
I think we need to go bankrupt and start over again.
I guess. And can I read Beckett without having that in mind? Can I enjoy Beckett? Can I enjoy Endgame for what it is, or do I have to have the I don't want to say baggage, but do I have to have the history and the present controversy involved with it as well?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting paper that I would definitely read. I would read I would read the how someone's intersection reviews the works of Beckett from the actual different individual pieces itself. That's interesting to me. I think it's time for provocations because
We have so
I
many
got
provocations.
we need to take a break and come back to some provocations. How's that sound?
Yeah, yeah.
Cause you got me clutching my pearls, honey. You got me
I
clutching
know.
my pearls.
I know, Karen. I know.
Don't you ever call me Karen? I'm turning into a Karen. Don't you call me that? I'm calling the manager.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the non-binary conforming individuals, you are listening to the stereo sounds of JDB, Jack David Burmeister. Wow,
Thank you for
it's like
cooling.
that, huh, Jack?
Thank you for cooling things down, Jack. Thank you.
Cool it down. Ooh, watch out, out, out. You're gonna lose control. Cool it now. Slow it down, 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 down. And fall in love again. Du-du-du, du-du-du, du-du. Oh, this is for Jack, for him to understand that I'm blessed with the voice.
Mm.
So we're at provocations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Adam Marple,
Yep. Yep.
do you have a provocation?
Yeah, dear listeners, answer the question for us. Figure it out for us.
Someone write in and help us out. Well,
Yeah.
we've got two really great pundits in our family. We've got uh, Pimblett. Kurt could send us something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Matthias. What's Matthias's last name?
Ting.
Ting. We got Matthias Ting.
I'd love to hear
So
from I'd love to hear from a dramaturg as well
Yeah,
about the
dramaturg.
value of the work.
We've got Taylor Barfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stephen Galtney, I'm sure will send us something.
Oh,
'cause
I'm
he's always
expecting.
got-
I'm expecting.
It's been
there
a
to be-
long time since he sent us rebut.
I'm expecting a fiery response, a voice note coming back
Yeah,
to this.
he's burning right now. His face
course he
is
is.
turned red right now.
Yeah,
It's
of
beat
course
red
he
right
is.
now. So we're expecting Stephen Galtney to answer our question.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a really great provocation because I don't have an answer either. So,
Yeah.
how will we know if they try to answer the question?
Well, we'll know because our inbox will be flooded at speakpipe.com/theater of others. Again, speakpipe.com/theater of others. Theater with an R-E, theater of others, all one word. You can leave a 90-second voice message on there. And if you're super fiery, you can leave us many, many 90-second voice messages. Of course, if you want to be far more expansive and articulate in written form, you can send an email to podcast@theaterofothers.com.
Yes.
We'll read it on air. There's
Please.
also shorter ways of getting in touch with us, which are Instagram, Facebook, and our
On the gram,
website.
y'all.
Many ways to get in touch with us because we are expecting some response back to this because
I
we
want
don't
to
know.
flood.
Yeah,
We
don't
don't have the
know.
answers.
We
were
and-
spinning
and-
around.
And it's not even to say that you're going to have the answers, but if the more people in this conversation, it's only going to expand and sharpen our ideas about this. So we welcome it. We welcome it. We welcome it.
100%.
And these hot-blooded conversations, these controversial issues, they're only going to know about them if they do what, Budi?
Subscribe. You gotta subscribe.
That's right.
How you gonna know what's going on if you don't subscribe? We come to your inbox every single week. Rain, sleet, snow, earthquake, volcano, monsoon, haze,
Pollen. It's just a little dusty
Pollen.
outside. It's just a little dusty outside today.
pollen, okay? And pollen, we got pollen problems in Melbourne anyway. Do you know we have a tree that releases pollen all year round? So if you have hay fever, all year round. You're on antihistamines all year round.
Sounds like hell.
And we could come to your inbox just like that. All year round, every day, every once a week. Can I speak English?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But you know what you should also do? You should do what my Uber driver does. And that is, you give me 5 stars, I give you 5 stars. 5 star, 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. And if you really like us, give us a comment. That really does push us up ahead of the queue, y'all. We're like in the top 10 podcasts of the world, y'all.
Not the top 10 podcasts of the
We're
world.
not the top 10?
And we're in the top 10% of podcasts. There's a big difference.
Oh, I forgot the percent. We like the top 10% of the world.
There's
Top
Joe
10%.
Joe Rogan, there's Oprah, there's the Theater of Others. Yeah, exactly.
Oprah's in the top 10?
She is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is she? I thought we were going to get her on the podcast.
I'm waiting for you. Obviously, you would know her better than I would because,
Why? Because I'm black? Well, it is what it is. Okay, well, I will go through my black network because that's what happens with Akshay. It's like if there's someone Indian involved in anything, there's the Indian network. All he has to do is call his mama, and his mama knows somebody's mama who knows somebody's mama who knows somebody's mama who knows somebody's mama that knows that child.
Yeah.
So I'll do the same. I'll call my mama, and she'll call her friends, and she'll call her friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. But in the meantime, Adam, it's so good to see you.
It's great to see you. I feel like we haven't seen each other in a while.
It has been a while. Would you stop, like, not seeing me once a week?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, baby, you are. You're here, and I'm queer. Get used to it.
Yep.
And y'all, we'll be back next week. In your inbox. Bye!
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.